TikTok for years has undergone multiple attempts at getting the app banned, usually over security concerns due to its parent company being Chinese. But as of now, it seems that this time, this ban is truly going to go through. Politicians want us to believe that they want TikTok to be banned because they care so much about our security, when every other social media company gathers the same information TikTok gathers and proceeds to sell it off, even sometimes to China. So, what is the real reason TikTok is getting banned? TikTok is one of the biggest social media apps with 400 TikToks being posted every single second. Most of these are brain rot or random ass videos, but still a very good amount of these 400 TikToks per second are TikToks that don't necessarily align with the goals of our politicians and oftentimes expose certain lies or show different perspectives to controversial events. There are many TikToks that discuss conspiracy theories or hint at controversial ideas that other social media apps heavily restrict discussion of. Many ideologies have gained immense traction on TikTok. Such ideologies are not liked by politicians, capitalists, or Zionists. A lot of the content on TikTok is purely critical of the American government, and for, of course, good reason, arguably not critical enough. In the past year, there have been many examples of videos gaining huge amounts of views and likes that give very respectable perspectives and evidence towards events and situations that the mainstream media holds opposing views of. This can be seen with videos surrounding the Palestine-Israel conflict, the Ukraine war, Zionists, political mishaps, presidential faults, propaganda, CIA files, certain conspiracy theories surrounding a particular group of individuals, and much, much more. There are so many videos discussing and sometimes promoting unconventional outlooks on issues that are at complete odds with the information seen with mainstream media, the same mainstream media that oftentimes works with behind closed doors and has the backs of politicians and celebrities. So TikTok having so much of this unconventional information being at the hands of the masses is seen as a danger to the narrative that our corrupt media and politicians want us to believe. In my experience, TikTok has way more political, ideological, societal, philosophical, and conspiracy type of videos, more so than Reels or YouTube Shorts. It also has some really cool niche communities that post very interesting content that I don't really believe any other app has. Compared to their rivals, TikTok is also a little bit less strict when it comes to suppressing radical groups and debatable hate speech. Recently, there has been a very noticeable waking up of many Americans as to how our country is truly run and who actually pulls the strings. There has also been many revelations as to the actual cause of societal and ideological problems. I feel that to an extent, TikTok can be applauded for this. Clearly, because of this, those in power who would prefer for the app to no longer exist use a fake scapegoat of national security in order to get this done. Now, to be fair, it definitely isn't ideal that TikTok is owned by China, but the idea that our security is at risk because of this is ridiculous when we have much more important security issues than China. The apparent risks are instead the uncontrollable growth of ideologies and understandings of events that the state has no control over. Certain ideologies or understandings that may affect certain aspects of politicians' standings, lives, or securities. Now, TikTok by no means is a platform that promotes free speech, but what makes TikTok so different than any other popular social media apps is that it is controlled by a foreign state. This foreign state isn't concerned with agreeing with the narratives of mainstream American media. Now, this foreign state, of course, could manipulate the app for its own benefit, and it probably has, but our government is supposed to be for the people, ran by the people, and for the benefit of the people. But instead, it's becoming clear to many Americans that our government is not for us. It's in fact, in a lot of ways, against us, against what we as a majority want. This causes instability that our government does not like. They want us subdued, compliant, and distracted. They do not want us to notice things and then proceed to spread our noticings to our fellow Americans through apps like TikTok. They do not want us to have the ability to openly discuss all sorts of ideologies and ways of life, especially ones that are against capitalism or are against our own governments. Instead of having our interests in mind, they have the interests of lobbyists in foreign countries at their forefront, treating our country as an economic zone instead of a land of the people. shoving flawed ideologies down our throats through every possible facet of the media. Such ideologies, when accepted by the people, turn them into better wage slaves. Ensuring mainstream media is controlled by the same people who neglect their own citizens but send mass amounts in foreign aid. Add to this controlled opposition to hopefully calm us down to think that maybe things will get better when they won't, because he will backstab us as well. America is no longer for the people. We are realizing that our country is fundamentally flawed as it was built upon an ideology that is at odds with the principles of life we are subject to. Combine such ideology with capitalism and you get a suboptimal future. The Enlightenment was purely a daydream. In actuality, the natural rights supposedly granted to us at birth are simply not always there. It's fiction, a dangerous lie that doesn't allow us to realize our true human nature. We are beginning to realize that we need a sense of collectivism that liberalism doesn't offer. Liberalism tends to be very individualistic. Nihilism stems from individualism. It implies to us that our individual freedom is more important than everyone else. Why defend anything or build anything when only I matter? That is the rot of liberalism. We must stop being so naively idealistic and confront the truths of our sometimes horrific existence. We must return to a moral field that values the growth of our life and for our people, with great civilizational endeavors being our main goal. Our governors would be only concerned for the people of their country instead of trying to be morally superior to a flawed ideology or capitalistic endeavors. We should not see life as a moral struggle purely about ourselves, but instead as a journey for others. Other people are what make life beautiful, and ensuring that we advance our civilization is what should be at the forefront of our minds. This realization should make it painfully obvious that capitalism is a syphilis to society. It harnesses the instincts of all to the extent of corrupting politicians who are supposed to work for the people but end up becoming slaves to the material. Now, how does this all relate back to TikTok? Freedom of speech, as it turns out, is the only thing that stops us from falling into totalitarianism. Hate speech is being utilized as the scapegoat in order to further restrict our freedom of speech. Now, I've said that TikTok is by no means a leader in free speech, but it does do a better job of it compared to Meta and what you are currently watching this on. If we want to retain an even somewhat decent society and country, all ideologies must be actively discussed, even those that are immensely radical. And the banning of TikTok is one step closer to a mass easier to control and enslave. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like TikTok or short form content. I am kind of happy that it's getting banned, but what I'm trying to say is that it's getting banned for the wrong reasons. Short form content, in my opinion, is not good for people. If anything, it's detrimental. But they do not have our best interests in mind with this ban. They are banning it for completely different reasons, and they are lying about what those reasons are. But we're finding out with this issue, and the same as many other issues, that our government almost never has our best interests in mind.